Hello, sports fans. It is Tuesday, January the 29th, the year 2013. And as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Today we're going to do some college basketball. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to do the NHL and the NBA. Thursday, we're finally going to get to the Super Bowl. I'm also going to give you some movie reviews on Thursday. Last night was not a great night in the sports world. Let's go through a couple of scores to start off with. As far as the NHL last night, Boston beat Carolina. Boston looks like they have a really good team. In the NBA last night, Denver beat Indiana. Denver's a really good home team. Houston just blasted Utah in Utah last night. Houston beat them by 45 points. I mean, what's the story there? Utah never loses like that at home. Houston blasted them last night. Brooklyn ended their losing streak. They beat Orlando. And Memphis rallied to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Rumors are that Memphis is looking to trade Rudy Gay, maybe to Toronto. I think Memphis definitely does have to make a move. They're a good team, but they're not an upper echelon team. A trade may be the best thing for them. And Rudy Gay's contract is an albatross, makes an awful lot of money. As far as college basketball last night, Louisville ended their 3-game losing streak. They beat Pitt at home, so nice job by Louisville last night. And the late-night game on Big Monday last night, Kansas beat West Virginia in West Virginia. What a tremendous crowd in West Virginia. I mean, they were all decked out in blue and gold. Like, every other section was blue, gold, blue, gold. Fans did a tremendous job last night in West Virginia. Wasn't enough, though. Kansas, just a really, really solid basketball team, and West Virginia cannot throw the ball in the ocean. I mean, they cannot make a shot. Bob Huggins must be pulling his hair out watching this team. He's not used to having a team like this. West Virginia is 2 games under 500. When has a Bob Huggins team ever been that bad? So, I mean, not a good job by West Virginia this year. They just have no shooters on the floor. Okay, let's get to our college basketball top 25, and then I'm going to go through some divisions for you. Let's go to the top 25. As far as the teams that dropped out of the top 25, Notre Dame out of the top 25, Virginia Commonwealth, after their bad week last week, they are out of the top 25. Teams that are on the fringe of the top 25 but not quite in, Georgetown, UNLV, Wisconsin, UCLA, Arizona State, Pitt, Villanova, Baylor, Iowa State, LaSalle, and Memphis. They're on the outside looking in right now, the top 25, but they're close. They're lurking. They could be in by next week. Okay, as far as your top 25, here we go. We're going from 25 to 1. Number 25, Marquette. They are 14-4. Really nice home crowd there at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. They actually outdraw the Bucks. They actually have a better college crowd than an NBA crowd out there in Milwaukee. So really nice job by Marquette supporting that team. They are ranked 25. Number 24, Cincinnati. They're 16-4. Gritty, defensive-minded team. Just like their coach, like a real fighter, a battler. Are they the best team, like technically? Are they the best athletic team? No, but they will fight you tooth and nail. Number 23, Minnesota. They are 15-5. Tubby Smith does a great job. We know he can coach. He won a national title, at Kentucky. Minnesota's been slipping a little in the Big Ten. They got to get their Big Ten record up a little bit, but they are ranked 23. Number 22, San Diego State at 16-4. Tremendous job by Fisher building this program. Not an easy place to recruit from, San Diego State. They are not a perennial powerhouse in basketball. We know Fisher, he's another guy just like Tubby Smith. Fisher can coach. He won a national title at Michigan. He's got San Diego State in the top 25. Nice job by him. Number 21, Creighton, 18-3. I've said it a million times. They get a huge crowd in Omaha, Nebraska. A huge crowd in Omaha, Nebraska. You'd never think it. They do. Number 20, New Mexico, 17-3. One of my all-time favorite arenas, the Pit in Albuquerque. I will keep telling you as long as the season goes on, get down to Albuquerque and see a game in New Mexico at the Pit. You won't regret it. You heard it here first. Definitely check out a game in New Mexico. Great home crowd. Number 19, NC State. They're 16-4. They were my sleeper team last year. I'm probably going to be on them again this year as a sleeper team. They're doing a nice job. They've been hovering around like the 15 to 20 slots this year. Number 18, Kansas State. They're 15-4. Nice job by Bruce Weber. He used to coach Illinois, got them to a Final Four. He's doing a nice job here at Kansas State. Number 17, Missouri, 15-4. Got to watch what happens with the coach. Remember, Frank Haith used to coach Miami of Florida. They're under investigation. Haith could be in trouble, and then Missouri will have to make a decision whether to keep Haith and, face sanctions of their own or fire him. Keep an eye on that. That could disrupt their team. Number 16, Ole Miss. How good is Ole Miss playing this year? 15-4. They're one of the surprise teams in all of college basketball. Ole Miss? I mean, come on, 15-4. Tremendous job by them. Number 15, Wichita State, the Shockers, 19-2. Really solid program. Number 14, Miami of Florida, 15-3. Miami of Florida in college basketball is ranked 14. Are you kidding me? How good has Larinaga been coaching this team this year? Miami is not a basketball powerhouse. They have never been good in basketball. Here they are ranked 14. Number 13, Michigan State at 17-4. Tom Izzo is doing it again. You're going to look up, I'm telling you, they're going to be in the Final 8. Number 12, Louisville. They are 17-4. They had a bad week last week. They lost 3 games in a row. Did bounce back last night. They're obviously a good team, Louisville. They just had a bad stretch of games there. Number 11, Ohio State. They're 15-4. They started off in the top 5. They've slipped a little bit. Still a solid team. Number 10, Oregon. 18-2. What a tremendous athletic program they're building in Eugene, Oregon. Not only is the football team a perennial power every year, now the basketball team is in the top 10. I mean, they're becoming the state of the top of the division out there in the Pac-12. I mean, both in football and basketball. I mean, they're like the team to shoot for. They're the athletic department to shoot for. Nobody's doing a better job than Oregon out west, so nice job by them. Number 9, Butler. They're 17-3. I mean, Butler. Who doesn't like Butler? I mean, you have to love the way they play. You have to love that old arena they play in. You have to love the coach for sticking around and not taking a bigger job. Nice job by Butler, 17-3. Number 8, Arizona, 17-2. They are really solid. They are also very good at home at the McHale Center, another place you have to check out. Number 7, Gonzaga. Much like Butler, Gonzaga is 19-2. They're another team, Spokane, Washington. A little school out there in Spokane, Washington. Here they are, ranked 7. Number 6, Syracuse, 18-2. Jim Boeheim doing it again. Jim Boeheim is a tremendous coach, one of the all-time greats now. You can't take it away from him. And the Carrier Dome, 30,000 strong every game. Number 5, Duke, they're 17-2. They missed Kelly in the worst way. With Kelly, they are a national title contender. Without him, they take a step back. They need him back in the lineup. I'm sure he's going to be out a few more weeks, but they will get him back before the season is over. Number 4, Florida, 16-2. I told you last week when Florida dropped out of the top 10, they're better than that. They are. They're one of the best teams in college basketball. They're 16-2. Number 3, Indiana, 18-2. They're a Final Four contender. Bloomington, Indiana, Assembly Hall. You have to check it out. The fans are just so passionate there. Tremendous job by them. Number 2, Kansas, 19-1. 18 in a row since they lost to Michigan State, on a tremendous roll. No better home court than Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And number 1, for the first time in about 20 years, at 19-1, the Michigan Wolverines. They haven't been number 1 since the Chris Webber years. We know Beeline can coach. He was a great coach at West Virginia. He's doing it again here at Michigan. They only have 1 loss this year, and that was a heartbreaker to Ohio State, a game they could have very well won. They missed a 3-pointer with time running out that rolled in and out, so Michigan are a real good team. So that's kind of where you are in your top 25. Let's go through our divisions real quick. Now, the bigger divisions I'm going to go through, I'm going to go from worst to first in the bigger divisions. The small divisions, I'm going to just tell you who's playing well. I'm not going to go through the whole division in the small conferences. Let's start in the Atlantic 10 from worst to first. Duquesne, 7-13, 0-6. Rhode Island, 6-12, 1-4 in the conference. St. Bonaventure, 9-10. Fordham, 6-14. I mean, the Fordham coach had something really going on at Hofstra. He bailed on Hofstra and took the Fordham job. I mean, what a mistake that was. Hofstra is actually a better job than Fordham, I think. Fordham is an impossible place to win at. I mean, it's hard enough for St. John's to get players. Fordham, impossible, so Fordham really struggling. St. Joseph's, 11-7. They've been spotty this year. Dayton, 12-7. They're kind of a bubble team. Temple, 13-6. They're another bubble team. Richmond, 13-8. Massachusetts, 13-5. St. Louis, 14-5, doing a solid job. George Washington, 10-9. They're 4-2 in the conference, but they got to get that overall record up. Xavier, very disappointing at 11-8. Very disappointing. They are 4-2 in the conference. You expect more from Xavier. LaSalle doing a great job, 14-5 and 4-2 in the conference. Very surprised by LaSalle this year. Virginia Commonwealth, 16-5, 4-2 in the conference. Charlotte, 16-4, 4-2 in the conference. Solid. Butler 17-3, 4-1, leading the conference. As far as your America East, Stony Brook, Vermont, and Albany seem to be the teams to keep an eye on. Stony Brook eventually has got to get into the tournament. The last couple of years, Stony Brook hosted the title game in their conference and lost at home with a chance to go to the big dance. So Stony Brook's got to win one of these tournaments one of these years. As far as your ACC, worst to first, Boston College is in the basement at 9-10. You know, they fired Skinner a few years ago, and, you know, they were a little spoiled with Skinner. Skinner was running a better program than they have now. Georgia Tech 11-7. What's going on with them? I mean, when they had Hewitt a few years ago, I mean, they were much better than this. They fired Hewitt. I mean, I think that was a mistake. I would have kept Hewitt. He coaches George Mason now. Virginia Tech, another team. They fired Greenberg. They're only 11-8. They haven't improved much. Wake Forest 10-9, up and down. Clemson 11-8, not a big basketball school. Maryland doing a nice job. They're 15-5, only 3-4 in the conference though. Got to up that conference record. Florida State struggling this year. They're 11-8. North Carolina 13-6, 3-3 in the conference. They're a bubble team. Virginia doing a nice job. I should have mentioned Virginia earlier. You know, the last few weeks they're 14-5, 4-2 in the conference. Nice job by Virginia. Duke, solid 17-2, 4-2 in the conference. Need Kelly back, though. NC State, we touched on them before, 16-4. And Miami of Florida leading the ACC, 15-3, 6-0 in the conference. As far as your Big 12 goes, TCU in the basement at 9-11. Texas 9-10. What's happened to Texas athletics? They weren't good in football. They're even worse in basketball. Texas Tech 9-9. Impossible place to win at. West Virginia with Huggy Bear 9-11. I mean, what's that all about? Huggins must be pulling his hair out. Oklahoma State 13-5. They're kind of a bubble team. Oklahoma 13-5, 4-2 in the conference. Kruger's got that team headed in the right direction. Iowa State 14-5, 4-2 in the conference. They're doing a nice job. Kansas State, like I said before, they're solid, 15-4, 4-2 in the conference. Baylor, a surprise team, 14-5, 5-1 in the conference for Baylor. Really nice job. Baylor's got not only a good football program now, they got a good men's program, and the women's program is out of sight. They won it last year. They're probably going to win it this year. Baylor athletics has taken a step up as well, and leading the Big 12, Kansas. What else is new? 19-1, 7-0 in the conference. I mean, it's just the same old for Kansas. As far as your Big East Conference, South Florida, who was decent last year, is not so great this year. They're in the basement at 10-10. DePaul 10-9. What happened to DePaul? I remember a long time ago, DePaul used to be a good team. They've fallen on hard times. Providence, the same story. When Rick Pitino was coaching that team years ago and Billy Donovan was playing for them, they had a solid team. They've fallen on hard times. They're 10-10. Seton Hall 13-7, mediocre. Rutgers 12-7. It seems they're always mediocre. UConn 13-5, 3-3 in the conference. Pretty decent considering Calhoun isn't there. Villanova improving, 13-7, 4-3 in the conference. Villanova's doing a lot better. Georgetown 14-4, 4-3 in the conference. Louisville ended their losing streak last night. They're 17-4, 4-3 in the conference. Cincinnati 16-4, 4-3 in the conference. Notre Dame 16-4, 4-3 in the conference. A lot of 4-3 teams in the Big East. St. John's 13-7, 5-3 in the conference. Nobody's doing a better job than Lavin this year with all these freshmen. Pitt 17-5, 5-4 in the conference. Marquette 15-4, 6-1 in the conference. It's amazing Marquette does this good of a job. And Syracuse leads the conference 18-2, 6-1 in the Big East. Syracuse getting it done again. As far as some of your little conferences go, your Atlantic Sun, that looks like Florida Gulf Coast. The Big South, Charleston Southern looks like your team. The Big Sky, Montana and Weber State. The MAC, that's Niagara, Iona, Loyola Maryland, Canisius. Those teams are battling. The Mid-American, you have Akron, Ohio, Western Michigan. Those three look like the best teams in the Mid-American. The Northeast, you have Robert Morris and Bryant. As far as the Big Ten goes, from worst to first, Penn State in the basement, 8-12, 0-8 in the conference. Penn State, never a basketball school. Nebraska, same thing, 11-10, 2-6 in the conference. Iowa 13-7, 2-5 in the conference. Illinois, what's happened to you? 15-6, but 2-5 overall in the conference. Right now, Illinois is going to be out of the tournament, and they started high. They were ranked really high this year. They were doing a nice job. They've fallen back. They got to really go on a winning streak. Northwestern 12-9, 3-5 in the conference. Minnesota 15-5, 3-4 in the conference. I mean, Minnesota's got to get that conference record up a little bit. 3-4 is under 500. Purdue 11-9, 4-3 in the conference, really struggling. Wisconsin, as usual, Bo Ryan getting it done again, 14-6, 5-2 in the conference. Ohio State solid, 15-4, 5-2 in the conference, although they were ranked higher at the beginning of the year. Then you got Michigan State third, Indiana second, and Michigan first. We went over those teams before. As far as your Big West, Long Beach State and Pacific looks like your teams to watch out for there. Your Colonial Northeastern is 8-0 in the conference, 13-7 overall, so Northeastern. George Mason, you know, the teams to look out for there. Hofstra, what's happened to your program? I mean, you've gone down the tubes. I mean, what the heck has happened to Hofstra the last few years? They've been very bad again this year. As far as your Conference USA, Southern Miss looks like a solid team, 17-4, 6-0 in the conference. Memphis always solid, 16-3. Central Florida, 14-5. UTEP 11-7. They need to get a little up there. They're kind of on the bubble. Tulsa with Danny Manning is 12-9, and SMU with Larry Brown only 11-10 and 1-5. I was wondering why Larry Brown took the job at SMU. Strange place for Larry Brown to end up, don't you think? I mean, SMU, strange. The MEAC, you have Norfolk State and North Carolina Central. The Missouri Valley, that's Wichita State, Creighton, and Indiana State. Those are the teams to keep an eye on there. As far as your Horizon, you have Valparaiso, Wright State, and Detroit. Those are your three teams there you want to keep an eye on. And the Ivy League, looks like Harvard all the way to me behind Tommy Amica. He's done a great job at Harvard. As far as your Mountain West Conference, you have some decent teams in the Mountain West, believe it or not. I mean, you have New Mexico leading the way. San Diego State is second. Colorado State is third at 16-4. Fourth is UNLV at 16-4. Even Air Force has a winning record. So does Boise State. So does Nevada. So does Wyoming. Only team that doesn't have a winning record in the Mountain West is Fresno State. Hard to believe. So that's kind of where you are with that conference. Your Ohio Valley, three teams to keep an eye on. Murray State, Belmont, and Eastern Kentucky. Your Patriot League, Bucknell and Lehigh. Your Southern, you have Elon, Davidson, and Charleston. Your Southland, you have Stephen F. Austin, Oral Roberts, and Northwestern State. As far as your SWAC, you have Southern. As far as your Summit, you have Western Illinois, North Dakota State, and South Dakota State. Your Sun Belt looks like Middle Tennessee or Arkansas Little Rock. West Coast Conference, you have Gonzaga, St. Mary's, BYU, and Santa Clara, all solid teams. Your WAC, Louisiana Tech, who's got a nice athletic program. They had a nice year in football, nice year in basketball as well. They're 18-3, 9-0 in the conference. New Mexico State in second at 13-8, 7-2 in the conference. Then you got Denver and Utah State at 3-4. Utah State's building a nice athletic department as well. As far as your Pac-12, Utah is in the basement. They're 9-11. Oregon State not doing much better at 11-9. Washington State 11-9, not so great. USC 8-13, never good in basketball. Cal 11-8, mediocre. Stanford 12-8, mediocre. Colorado much improved, 14-6 and 4-4. That's a step up for them. Washington 12-8, 4-3 in the conference, mediocre. Arizona State much improved, 16-4, 5-2 in the conference. Then you have Arizona in third, UCLA in second, and Oregon, as we mentioned before, in first place. I still can't get over the job Oregon's done with their athletic department. Solid in football, now solid in basketball. Gold standard out west. The athletic department of Oregon out there in Eugene. Great job by them. Real quick, in your Southeastern Conference, LSU is in last at 10-7, 1-5 in the conference. LSU is another one of those football schools that very rarely is good in basketball. Occasionally they're good. They were good with Shaquille O'Neal. They had a little run a few years ago when they beat Duke, but most of the time they're not great in basketball. Mississippi State 7-11. They've gone downhill. Georgia, another team never good in basketball, 8-11. Auburn, another team never good in basketball, 8-11. They had like one decent year with Charles Barkley one year. They haven't been good since. Vanderbilt 8-10. What's happened to Vanderbilt? Tennessee 10-8. They missed Bruce Pearl. He had that team playing on another level. Ever since he left, they haven't been as good. Texas A&M 12-7 and mediocre. South Carolina same thing, 12-7. Arkansas same thing, 12-7, mediocre, mediocre, mediocre. Alabama 12-7, 4-2 in the conference, a little better. Kentucky 13-6, 4-2. I mean, we have such high standards for Kentucky. This is a disappointment for them, but they do have all freshmen. Who do we got here? Missouri, 15-4, 4-2. Like I said, keep an eye on the coaching situation there. Florida in second place, 16-2. And first place, Ole Miss, 17-2, 6-0 in the conference. One of the surprise teams of all of college basketball, Ole Miss. So that's kind of where you are with your divisions. Who's doing well? I mean, who's kind of in the bottom of these big divisions? I kind of gave you a little overview of all the divisions. As far as tonight, what to watch for. Tonight in the NBA, you have Golden State at Cleveland, Dallas at Portland, New Orleans at the Lakers, not great. NHL, you got some decent games. Devils at Boston, real good game. Flyers at Rangers, really good game. Winnipeg at Montreal. Washington at Ottawa. Islanders at Pittsburgh. Florida at Tampa. Anaheim at San Jose. That's some games to keep an eye on in the NHL. As far as your college basketball tonight, Wisconsin at Ohio State, very nice Big Ten game. Kentucky at Ole Miss, we just mentioned Ole Miss. That's going to be a wild see in Ole Miss. They got Kentucky coming in. They should be flying. NC State at Virginia, very important ACC game. And if you're looking for some soccer tonight, the USA men's national team has a friendly against Canada in Houston. This is their last game before they start World Cup qualifying next week. So if you're looking for some soccer, you might want to check out the men's national team against Canada tonight. No Donovan, he's still on a break. We'll see when he's going to come back, but there is some soccer on tonight if you want to keep an eye on it. I'm going to definitely focus in on that Kentucky-Ole Miss game. I want to see the scene there at Ole Miss. Should be a wild scene. Okay, so that's that kind of wraps it up for today. Tomorrow we're going to do all NHL, all NBA. We're going to go through the NBA standings, see who's playing well. You know, we're at the midway point of the NBA season, so we're going to go through the standings, see who's playing well, see who's playing mediocre, who's playing bad. Same thing in the NHL, although it's early. Thursday, we're going to do our NFL Super Bowl preview, and I'm going to throw in some movie reviews for you. So that wraps up today. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the games tonight, and I will talk to you tomorrow, Wednesday. Take care.